Joyful blessings. This is Kaylin Castell with a look at the sky mysteries and the September equinox. The equinoxes are really important times that happen twice each year, and they represent the balance of day and night. And so you can see this here. Generally speaking, around March 20th and September 22nd is when we have each of the equinoxes. And so depending on what hemisphere you're in, you're either experiencing the spring equinox or the autumnal equinox. So in the northern hemisphere on September 22nd, we're looking at the September equinox in this video most specifically. It's the autumnal equinox, or the movement towards winter. Now, what's interesting about the equinoxes is it literally means equal light and dark, or equal day and night. And you can see here that when we reach the equinox time, basically the sun is rising and setting pretty much across the planet, due east and due west. And there are some amazing things we're going to get to see in a moment about how this alignment affects the Earth. But one of the things they also know is that they can determine that the magnetic field of the Earth is affected by this alignment, this exact due east and due west, rising and setting pretty much across the planet. And it creates a solar effect that lasts about 48 hours. So when we have this measurable reduction in the auric field around the Earth, it means we also have an ability to connect with other realms and dimensions more easily. Ancient cultures knew this and basically created ceremonies that were designed that helped them to connect with this dimensional doorway. Many cultures saw the sun as a doorway into other realms, and especially at these seasonal points. So here's one example of what happens at the equinox. It doesn't matter which one. At Chichen Itza, the serpent pyramid called Kukulkan, literally at this, I think it's at the setting of the sun, this serpent is lit. And you can see that the serpent is lit all the way up to the top of the pyramid. And there were significant ceremonies. And why would they take all the time to create this magnificent structure, to follow this, if it wasn't important? So just keep that in mind as we look at some other things. This is a more recent way of tracking the solar cycles. It's taking a combination of some windows of light that were created by a lot of Native American cultures in the Southwest, where I live in Tucson, Arizona. This is the Tucson Sun Circle. And so it's built, the center part of the circle here you see is the window, for the window of light for the equinoxes, for both equinoxes. The one to the right is for the, you see the sunrise at the December solstice through this window. And this one is where the sun rises at the June solstice through this window. And these paths of cement, paths across the center of the circle, represent how the windows of light track across. And you can see here's a window of light. This was taken at the equinox. And this window of light has been, as the sun rises and sets, the windows of light, you can see in this one, as the sun is rising, the window of light is starting across the path. And as the sun is setting, as you can see in this one, the window of light is going across the path. And we'll see in just a minute that you see the window of light going up this pathway. And then what happens is, as the sun sets, it goes, the light winks out through this window. Pretty remarkable to see and get to experience. And here you can see there's windows of light on both sides of the circle. And this is the sun as it's going down through the windows of light. So we're very fortunate to have this. You might have something like this where you live. There's also other sites that are more ancient. This one is in Sedona, Arizona at the V-Bar V Ranch. And basically what they were doing was tracking, they created these panels of petroglyphs, and the certain petroglyphs would be lit at certain times of the year, and that would let them know when there were certain ceremonies that they would do. So here is the equinox sun being lit on this panel, and you can see it up a little bit closer, the light coming down across the panel, because what we're going to see in a minute here is these two stones. So depending on the angle of the sun will depend on it tells them what time of the year it is and what ceremonies are ready to be engaged at this particular time. So for example, when the sun is coming straight down, it's coming down and activating different, like these would indicate perhaps it's time to do some planting. There may be ceremonies for doing rain dances. And so that this tells a whole story about what time it was and what to do and when to do it. So it's pretty remarkable to think that these cultures, and this is just a bare example of some of the cultures that have worked with the equinoxes, the solstices, and the seasonal points. So what we're seeing here is that when the sun rises at the equinox, at the September equinox, the place that is in the sky, the green line is the path of the planets, the ecliptic or the plane of our solar system, and the red line is the celestial equator that expands out into space. And where this line touches is where the equinox sun rises. And you can see it's in the head of the Virgin Priestess, also called the Maiden here, and aligned with the tail of the lion. And so this is a significant place for it to be. We'll see a little bit more in just a moment. Yes, so here we go. What happens is that and you'll see this in a link I'm going to provide with this video. There's a story about how Como Bernice is a constellation that points directly to the North Galactic Pole, and the sun is in alignment with this and aligns with the North Galactic Pole for about 144 years, every 26,000 years at the equinox, and that is happening now. And there's a whole story about Como Bernice and her hair, and how it was also this tail, the story was connected to the seasonal shift. And again, there will be a link. If you're not seeing this on the page with the story, there'll be a link that you can access to get more of the story. So I thought I would complete the talking about the equinoxes, because this, especially this September equinox, with an invocation that comes from this book, Ancestors of Avalon, that Diana Paxson wrote. She actually helped Marion Zimmer Bradley finish this book. And it's a great chant that I feel like helps to invoke the energy. And ultimately, what we want to do at the equinox time is to tune in to this balance of light and dark, day and night, and to the fact that we can maybe access other realms and dimensions more easily during the equinox window. So here's the chant. Let day be bound by the night, dark be balanced by the light. Earth and sky and sun and sea a circled cross shall ever be. Let sorrow make a space for joy, let grief with jubilance alloy. Step by step to make our way till darkness shall unite with day. Each season by the next is bound, meetings, partings form the round. The sacred center is our frame, where all is changing, all the same. Moving we become more still, impassioned we are bound by will, turning in perpetuity while time becomes eternity. And literally the equinoxes help us stay connected to time, as do the solstices. So if you'd like more information about this, there's some great articles I have about the solstices and the equinoxes on my website. You can go to celestialtimings.com or kaylencastell.com and find a lot of really cool information that will support you in learning more about this unique and a special time.